Welcome to another episode of our podcast, A Moment of Boba, where you get to come and join us as we share with one another about our life experiences.
I'm Ping.
I'm Finola.
I'm Kalina.
And I'm Tina, your host for today's episode. So, it's the month of February, which is also the month of love. We're going to continue with the theme of love and talk about our love languages today. So we just got done taking the 5 languages test. If you want to take it too, we'll link it in the description box. And we're just going to talk about our results. So for me, my main love language is actually shocking. I mean, to me it is.
Yeah.
It says that my primary love language is quality time, but I thought it would be physical touch because I'm very touchy.
Is physical touch at least your second then?
Yeah, it is. It's
Okay.
my second. It's like tied second with another one. Words of affirmation.
So what else? Like, what did everybody get for their first one? 'Cause
Yeah, your main one.
I also got quality time.
Same.
Oh, really? I got acts of service.
Oh.
Yeah.
Acts of service is my second one.
Oh, really?
And then words of affirmation is my third.
Vanilla and I have the same results.
Like
first to fifth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the next is receiving gifts, and then last one is physical touch.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised because I was like, oh, like I actually like physical touch too.
Yeah,
So
me too.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Because you guys are sisters. We stand together.
But like I've taken this test before, and I think it's changed because I feel like my physical touch before was pretty high too.
Same, yeah.
It changed. Wow.
I had acts of service is like 40%, so almost half of the answers. Yeah, I guess I really love acts of service.
Yeah.
And then quality time was next. Receiving gifts and words of affirmation were tied, and then physical touch was 0%.
I
Zero.
You know,
Yeah.
There's no chance.
Because like when you read it though, a lot of the physical touch is like in public, and I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
do physical touch in public. That's kind of awkward.
It reminds me of our last episode. Pina was talking about like her little waddle. Like,
Yeah,
The
she didn't like
waddle.
eggs, whatever you want to call them.
But yeah, for me, yeah, so mine was like quality time, and second is words of affirmation and physical touch. Third is acts of service, and last is receiving gifts, which is 10%, which is true. Like, I like gifts, but I like it when it's like personalized. Like, you don't need to get me something extravagant.
yeah.
But yeah, that's not like a big thing for me. But yeah. What are like some things that proves that you guys like quality time or acts of service?
Mhm. I think for me, I guess I feel like it really shows in my relationships, like, are just like wanting to be with, my friends and hanging out with them. Like I just really enjoy that personal time, like being able to do karaoke or play board games, just being in each other's presence. But like I know like and it kind of like bothers me when people are not actually here, like they're here, but like you can tell that their mind is somewhere else, or like they're always on their phone, and it's like they're not here. And so people like that, like if I've seen one like that, it like makes me like kind of annoyed. Like, why? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to here to spend time with everybody. And like that's why, like, what I like to do is just being able to spend personal time, hang out, talking. So like whenever I get the chance to, I like am really down to hang out, go to Applebee's, or like go somewhere together and just enjoy being together.
Yeah, I think for me too, like the questions that were asked, one of them I remember it was like it's more meaningful to me when like the person that I love, like we spend time together with no interruptions, or they don't pay attention to their phone. I'm like, that's so true, because like if we're together, like I want us to be together. Like you can put your phone away, you can check it here and there, but if you're constantly on it, like you're distracted by it, then like that's not the quality time that I'm asking for. If you're not going to be here with me, then we don't need to be together at all. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Like, if I am with my friends or with, like, other people, I would want us to kind of actually, like, be together, because sometimes when somebody is on their phone, part of me just want to be like, can you leave? I don't but you know,
She got real close.
but I can't tell them to leave, because if it's my home,
Can you go get something for me and then not come back?
yeah, because it's just so rude. Like, you are here to come hang out, but you don't want to be here with us. So leave.
In the most nicest way possible.
Could you please get out of my house?
Yeah. It's just really annoying, because it's like, I want to spend time too, but you're not.
Yeah.
For me, I do a lot. I feel like I do a lot for others. Like, for example, in college, I was able to cook in a kitchen since I lived in a dorm that had a kitchen. So I would always cook for my friends and stuff like that, and I wouldn't really expect anything back. But when someone else did cook for me, or like would see that I'm tired and they give me like a free drink that they got from the school store, then that's like what makes me really happy. Just because they have something that they could use, for themselves, and then they go out of their way to either like, oh, did you want me to go get you a coffee while you're studying, like that? Like, they go out of their way to help like relieve my stress. And that's what I really like, because I'm most stressed when I'm doing so many tasks. So having someone like help me or doing something to help relieve it, like, oh, that's amazing.
I can agree, because acts of service is my second one, and it's just nice to have someone be like, oh, like, I see you are tired from doing this, let me help you, or here, let me go do this for you if you're gonna be doing this.
Or even better, let's go do it together. Which I really appreciate.
Because back when I did I was like a secretary for an organization, I was in charge of decoration, so I spent like all night painting a huge backdrop, and sometimes by myself, because I'm in charge of it and the event's coming up, so it'll be on me if it's not finished. And when I had friends come help me when they weren't part of the committee, and so that, like, I always remember that, and it was just really nice having people come help.
And it's nice that they kind of just like think of you too, and it's like, oh, she's probably alone right now, let's go and be with her.
Again, you have such nice friends. Because like for me, like mine for acts of service, it's only 17%. And I feel like it's like that because people around me are so oblivious. And like, I mean, of course, like not my friends, but like other people, like if they're part of like the same organization or something. But like, I make it clear that I'm stressed and that like I can't, like I'm just done. But like people ignore me, and so like they don't help me, or they don't, or if they do, like they do it wrong. And so then for me, then I think like, okay, well, if I want something done, I have to do it myself my way. And so I think like that's why I have such a low score, because I just don't expect anything from anyone.
Yeah, true. Because, I mean, I guess some people I'm not saying everybody's like this, but some people do pretend that they don't see you struggling just because they don't want to help too. Which is like, not I get it, but okay, I see that you don't want to help, but it would be nice if you did help. Because then if they were in the same position, they would want help if we were watching them struggle.
And I think a lot of it comes from seeing how my parents want to be loved, because they don't say it directly, like, I want you to love me like this. But like my mom, like whenever there's like any lectures or anything, or I just need like a good talk to, she would say like, if you just did the dishes without me telling you, or if like you cooked me a meal without me knowing, like that's what my parents really like. So I think seeing that they enjoy that makes me enjoy that also. So I see that maybe that's why I like acts of service so well, because that's what my parents like, so I kind of like the same back.
Wow.
I don't know about you guys. Have you guys seen how your parents like to be loved?
I think like doing like stuff without being asked.
I was like quality time too.
Yeah,
like
you guys.
Family time.
Yeah, because you guys always do like cabins with aunts, uncles, and all that.
And like we had like a lot of family nights where like when we were younger, my mom would have us play charades. or like other little games, like as little kids, like Duck Duck Goose. It's just like a small family. But like as we grew older, I think we have a few board games nights here and there. But like we just grow up, so we don't do a lot, but then we still do like little devotion times. So we do try to spend time together, or like pre-COVID, we were able to like go to the movie as a family, or like go bowling, do those like fun stuff, or like escape rooms. Yeah, any like quality time I think my parents like love to have.
I think like right now, because we are stuck at home and we are
lots of quality time.
But the thing is that although we are in the same home, we are all never in the same room. So I think they appreciate the quality time if we leave our room. And even if we're not spending time together, we're just spending time together in the same room.
But not with each other, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that was like one of the questions too. Like, it's more like I find it more meaningful, like, even though if I'm just like around that person.
Yeah.
But I think that's the same for me, like for my parents too. Like, I think my dad really enjoys like my mom doing things without him knowing. Like, if you just cook, if you just clean, like, without me asking, without me knowing, like, that'd be great. And then my mom, she really likes quality time, which I think is a lie, because she never spends quality time with me. And like, I always tell her, like, to, ask her to go shopping with me, because that's my, that would be, like, our quality time.
Yeah.
But she's always on her phone. So I'm like, that, she'd be lying. I don't think she likes quality time. I think she likes gifts. But, yeah. But kind of just going down my list with, like, physical touch and words of affirmation, I think I really crave that, because I've never really received that from my family. I like, of course, when I was younger, and our parents would be like, oh, good job, like, whatever. But like now, like, grades matter so much. I'm the only one in school still, so grades still matter. But yeah, I think it just, as I got older, like, the physical touch just stopped, and the words affirmation turned into like criticism, where it was like, you need to get good grades because we need like these benefits or something. But yeah, and I think that's something I crave, and I think this is pretty accurate. My results are pretty accurate, and so yeah. What about you guys? Like, if it's like really accurate to what you want.
I think it is. Yeah, because mine, after my second one, my third one is words of affirmation. And like for me, I do like it when somebody compliments me. Like, don't shower me with compliments. But like give compliments that you actually mean, not just empty words. Because if I know that you mean it, then it's very reassuring for me.
I agree on that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. I feel like physical touch would should be around the same with receiving gifts, or even higher. But I think it's just how like it matched up in the question might be why too. But again, like, I love quality time, and like whenever TJ is able to hang out with me, like, I love that. And he knows it too. And like acts of service, like when he does things with me or for me, I think those are like oh, like he cares. And like he like loves me enough like to help me out with those things, or like do things for me, and like I always like appreciate that. And like just like in general with like friends too, because I know like college is tough, and sometimes it's really nice when they like decide to bring, like, there was a time where, no, I think like it was like I haven't seen my friends for a long time, and then they came to see me and they brought me ice cream too, and it was like surprising that like they would do that, and it was like really sweet. And so I think for sure like my top three, because mine's like cleanest too, words of affirmations, my third one. I think like especially now, like when I'm working a lot as a teacher, it's really nice to have those words of affirmation for like what I'm doing as my job, and like trying to also juggle church ministries too at the same time, and it can be a lot. But like not a lot to the point where I burn out, but then it's nice to hear like, wow, like you're doing so much, keep it up. Just having those like hearing those words like, wow, like I kind of like helps encourage you a little bit too when you feel like no one sees what you're doing. But I think at times, at the right moments, when they're being said, like it really, for me, encourages me.
Mm-hmm. For me, so I talked about the acts of service, and like in the past few episodes in February, you guys know like I've been giving so many examples of acts of service, like my friend walking me to my dorm.
We should have seen this coming.
Yeah, I know. I just noticed that too. And like one time I pulled an all-nighter, and like I literally had to write essays all night long, and then I only had a little bit of time for a class, so I was like drained. And then my friend saw me and he went out to go buy me coffee. I don't drink coffee, but it was just really nice for him to do that for me because he knew I was literally dead inside. And then like and then after act service is quality time, and I always tell my friends like, oh, I love doing nothing together, you know, like we used to nap together because we just wanted to be with each other, even if we didn't know what we wanted to do. Or just like go cruising around, like just spending time together, making memories is really nice to like look back on. And just like friends asking if you wanna like hang out, it's like they want to include you, they want to see you, hang out with you, so that feels really nice. So I do get like, sometimes back then I used to get really hurt when I wouldn't get invited to things. I'm like, oh, they don't want me there, they don't like my presence. But I kind of stopped thinking like that because, you know, not everybody could be there or something like that. And then after that is words of affirmation, which was tied with the gifts. So words of affirmation, I actually thought that would be my first one because I love writing letters to my friends and like saying what I love about them, why I'm thankful for them. But I don't think I would mind not getting the same back because I'm like not a like touchy feeling like ooey gooey person. I like writing things for others, but reading it I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so shy, I'm not gonna say anything. I'll see you in a few weeks or something, I don't know. But yeah, and whenever I write a letter to someone, I never expect it back. Whereas like when I do something for someone, sometimes I'm like, oh, I hope they do the same for me, like that. So that kind of thinking, I can see why words of affirmation is lower on the scale. But it is nice when someone says like, oh, you've been doing a great job, like I've noticed the hard work you put in, like that. Oh my gosh, it's so rewarding. You're like, okay, yeah, I can keep doing it because people are noticing that I'm working so hard for this. And the gifts, I'm not really like a materialistic person, but when someone does give me a gift, I think about it like they gave it to me because they thought of me. Like maybe it might not be something they wanted, like if they just had like an extra juice that they don't like the flavor of. But like for them to give it to me, they know like, oh, maybe Pink likes this. Like that kind of feels nice, even though it's just giving away something you don't want. But they had so many people to choose from and they still chose you. It's kind of like that. And then physical touch, I don't know, I've just never liked it. You guys know that growing up with me, we'd be sitting in the car, I'm like, you better not cross this line, you better not touch me, keep your thigh away from me, and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just like, don't touch me. But being with you guys and like being with friends from college, giving hugs and stuff is so normal now that like whenever I see someone, I'm like, I just give them a hug. Back when COVID wasn't a thing. But yeah, it's just nice when like, this is kind of weird, but like when you hug someone and they give you like a nice tight hug, you're like, oh gosh, that feels good. But when they just like kind of like do like a little tap, you're like, oh, get away from me.
Or like the awkward side hug.
Like that side hug where it's just like, I'm just hugging you to be nice, but I don't really want to hug you. I don't
like playing "Don't Touch Me."
So I don't know, I've started to notice different kinds of, which is weird, like different kinds of hugs and ways people do physical touch. But
so then, were you gonna say something? So then, like, what if your significant other really likes physical touch, or like the ones that you guys don't have, or the least ones that you guys had?
I actually don't mind because like I don't really mind physical touch. Like that's why I was surprised that it was like the last one. The least one, yeah, because I feel like as a very emotional person, like I need like when I'm like for example, with TJ and I get into argument, then like I feel like, and like I don't get to see him until like 3 days later. Like I feel like it's weird because then I need to see him right now so then we can hug it out or something, and then it'll be fine. Otherwise, like when I keep talking to him, I feel like there's still this awkward tension that shouldn't be there anymore, but still there. And it's like I think it's just because I need to see him and get that like hug to feel better, you know. So I feel like in those moments, I'm all for physical touch, but not to like physical touch, like especially in public, because that's where I'm kind of uncomfortable. Like people are watching, like you shouldn't be doing this. And like I'm thankful TJ doesn't, do a lot of physical touch in public. I mean, like I think we'll have the same thoughts. So like wouldn't want to make people uncomfortable and like ourselves, or like doing it out there, like I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for physical touch, I don't.
I
don't
know
Lena did so much. She got 7%.
Like,
Okay, there's some.
I don't hate it. I think only when it's necessary. Like if a friend is crying and they need comfort, then I'll go give them a hug. Or if I see someone who I haven't seen in forever, then yeah, I'm gonna go give them a hug.
But what about your significant other?
Yeah, what if he really wants physical touch?
Holding hand, intertwining the fingers.
She just scrunched her nose. I for one hate intertwining fingers though, but I love physical touch.
Like I don't know. Maybe I don't not like too touchy. Because there's some people who are just always all up on each other, and I'm kind of like, that's no
personal space.
Get split up right there. But maybe if it's just like small things, then maybe I'll be okay with it, but not too much, not too much in public or in front of my family. Like I don't want to be in front of my family and my significant other. My significant other just always like touching me and trying to not like touch.
So if you guys are alone, secluded, then you'll allow physical touch.
No,
because you don't want to do it in public. You don't want to do it in front of your friends or family. So when you guys are alone in a secluded area, then you'll let him high five you.
As long as there are boundaries, yes,
that
would be fine.
Yes.
Okay. Physical touch. I feel like it's not a way I want to be loved, but if that's how they want to be loved, like, yeah, for sure, I'll do that. 'Cause I don't like physical touch with other people, but if it's a significant other, then maybe physical touch, like, when they, like, show love through hugging me or wanting to hold my hand, then that's kind of like another way of falling in love with them. Like, if my love language is acts of service and they've been doing that, like, that's great. Like, I love you already. But but if, like, they start showing love in ways that I never expected, because I don't expect physical touch since that's not what I prefer. But if they do that, then, like, oh, gosh, like, okay, yeah, I'm really in love with this guy if I love when, like, he hugs me or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like having, like, using physical touch for, like, those heart-fluttering moments. That I might like.
We found it.
I feel like I said, like, I just really like those heart butterflies and stuff. Because it's just really, like...
So you only let him do physical touch when your heart flutters?
Or if it'll make her heart flutter,
basically. You can only do it if he can prove that he can flutter your heart.
Oh my god.
You can't do it too often. It has to, like, come in a surprise. Because
She'll have a heart attack.
She wants fluttering. Because when you, like, watch dramas, and then the guy, he does that unexpected, like, physical touch, you're kind of just like, oh my gosh, that was so, like, when you see it, it's kind of, like, manly and, like, cool, but then, I think in real life it's not
you're
like
mine.
That, but, not like that, but, like, those little sweet moments that you see.
I think, those are cute.
Ping, like, mentioned, like, something, like, that I was like, oh, yeah, because she's like, if my, like, significant other, his love language is physical touch, then, like, she's okay with it, and that may, like, think about like TJ's, his love language is different from mine's, and like how we show love to each other is different. Because then, like, for me, like, it's all about like quality time and like spending a lot of time together. I think sometimes like also have to realize that like, oh, maybe like when he does it, because like that's all I know, so that's what I'm gonna like do to other people is spend time with them, because that's like my love language, and I don't know like what everyone else's love language might be, so that I'm just gonna continue to show love through quality time. And I think when I got into a relationship with TJ, like I didn't really understand love language when we first started dating, but I think as we continued dating, I realized that like, wow. And like when I first started hearing about love language, I'm like, wow, no wonder sometimes we kind of like have these small arguments, because like we didn't understand our love language, that like it's different. And like once I understood that, like it makes more sense. Like, wow, I need to like because it's just like at times sometimes like it's just loving each other can be hard in a way where like we're not understanding each other through our language, our love language, you know. And so then like I know now that like, and through just like how he shows his love for me, like he needs to have these affirmations of words. And so then that's what like I try to do my best to my ability, because like I'm not very good at having those words, but then I think being able to understand that like that's how he is also like helps our relationship too. Because then like at first I didn't understand like, why are we getting mad over these stupid things, and like finally understanding like, oh, maybe it's because, you know, how we are trying to love each other is totally different from, because like I'm expecting like him to always spend all of his time with me, because, you know, I enjoy quality time, you know. And like for him, he's always wants like reassurance from me that like I'm okay, and that like I still love him through everything, you know. And like that is something that like we both realize like we need to like work with that in our relationship to really understand each other. And that is like something that like I was kind of like, oh, like I didn't realize that like we show love to each other, we do, but they're just different. And like I didn't really see that. And I think that's really nice to actually understand. As like maybe like if you're having a hard time with somebody that you really love, maybe you just need to try to understand how they want to be loved, or how they're trying to love you too. It might be a little bit different from what you think.
So his love language is words of affirmation?
I think so, because like he hasn't taken the quiz yet, but like just knowing him from like for 5 years, I'm like, dude, I already know your love language is words of affirmation, because he's always like looking for me to like reassure him, like tell me that like really tell me that you're fine, that we're okay now, or like he just wants to hear those words, you know, versus like all the other things.
Something I learned something I learned like when I started talking to people is that even though these like, you know, acts of service and then physical touch at the end, this could all change depending on the person that I'm with. Because one time, like, I went to go hang out with a guy, and we held hands. I literally felt nothing. I was like, why are we holding hands? I don't know. Like, he wanted to hold hands. I was like, okay, let's hold hands. But I didn't feel anything, so I wasn't really, like, feeling love or whatever. But when this other person held my hand, I was like, yo, is this what people call sparks? You know? Yeah, like I don't know, like it's the same thing, holding hands, but it feels so different with different people. And like one time I was going through a really tough time because something kind of bad happened, and I just didn't know how to express it. I didn't want to tell anybody because it was very, very personal. So I let it out to one of my very close guy friends, and I don't know, he knew that I liked hearing his music, so he just played his music and sang along, and that made me happy. And then later on, like, we hung out again at our friend's place, and I started crying, and, like, I feel like sometimes the only thing you can do is just give someone a hug. Yeah. So even though I do not want to be comforted like that, like, just leave me alone or something, just give me some alone time. Yeah. Like, he gave me a hug, and I was like, okay, yeah, that actually is very comforting, because knowing him, he never, like, hugs people. He never, like, touches people like that. So knowing that he hugged me, I was like, oh, okay, this dude is going out of his way to hug me to make me feel better. And that's where I could kind of see, like, okay, maybe if someone does love hugs, then like, and they know that I don't, maybe if like I do show them physical affection, then they'll know that I'm really being truthful with my actions and stuff like that. So I've started thinking about it in that sort of way.
Yeah, because I was like, do you think it depends too, like, on what, like, kind of like how the person has acted towards you? Like, if this guy who hasn't really like done anything for you and like just decides to hold your hand, that's why there's no spark, versus a guy who's like always there for you and he comforts you, and when you like actually like hold hands, and then there's that like flutteriness, or like, do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of like they show love through all five of the love languages, and you're like, wow, he's really loving me in all the ways he can, you know? Yeah, even like as friends, you know, if like you just give them a letter or words of encouragement when they're feeling down, or just like patting their back, like, hey, you'll be okay, you know, like things like that, where you're just showing them as much love as you can, I think is really nice to see.
Yeah, I agree. I always agree. But yeah, for me, the least percentage was gifts. If my significant other really wants to be loved by gifts, I think that's fine. It's just that I would hope that he likes more meaningful gifts, like meaningful gifts as in like personalized, meaning DIY. I would hope that he would like any kind of gift, even though if it's small, because like if I get him extravagant gifts, like my bank is gonna be they ain't gonna be a bank. So yeah, I think that's also fine with me. It's just I you know how there are people that like receiving gifts, but they're just like, oh, thank you. But there are those who are like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. Like, I hope he would react like, oh my gosh, like, you didn't have to, but I really appreciate it. Like, thank you. And so I would hope that he would react that way. Then that would make me want to get him more gifts.
Yeah. My brother is one of the, like, right now, because I guess because he's in high school, he's like, oh, thanks. Like, but I think also because he's in high school inside, like, he's probably happy about it, but like he just doesn't really express it, because like there are times where like when he leaves, like you can tell he's a little bit excited, but when you give it to him, he opens it and is like, oh, thank you. And you're like, that's it, like nothing more. But like when he goes off on his own, you see that he's excited or very happy.
Oh yeah,
that's like my brother too. This past Christmas, I got my brother more clothes, and I got him like 2 sweaters, and he was like, "Oh, it's a sweater," and I'm like, "Yep." He was, thanks, because I think he wasn't expecting any gifts, and so he was just like, "Oh, thanks," and I'm like, okay, but he wore it right away, and he wore it for like 3 days straight.
Oh my God.
So I was like, do you like that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, like, are you just wearing it just cause, or like you really like it? I don't know, but he wore it for a really long time. But like after a while, he had to go. He needs to wash it. Like, oh my God, he just wore it too much. But yeah, I think that's just how guys are.
I know, yeah. That's like my brother too.
Yeah, I've never seen guys express like I mean,
openly,
like not like
stuff.
Maybe
maybe that's just our brothers, because I feel like if it's like other guys who are not family,
they might react more. A better reaction when I give him things. He'll be like, oh, cool, like,
oh,
yeah. So I'm like, okay, makes sense.
You like it. Yeah, when I gave TJ my gift, he was like, "This is unexpected. Thank you." Like, see, there's an example right there.
During Christmas, like, I was so last minute with my gifts because I feel like I put way too much thought into it. But for my brother, he's always like, how do you do my laundry? I ran out of, okay, this is like TMI, but like, he's like, I ran out of underwear. I need to do laundry. Stop telling me to do chores. Like, he's my youngest brother. And so like, he's always like waiting till the last pair or something. And then, so I was like, you know what? Let me get him those commando emergency underwear. It's kind of like a gag gift where it's not really a real gift, but it's kind of like more of a joke that you would still enjoy. So I gave him one size emergency underwear, and it's literally a duck wearing like a commando outfit. Yeah, and like he did not know what it was. All he saw was the duck, and then he read it, and like he laughed, but you could tell he was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, are you crying? Because we don't have the best relationship, and we're always fighting and butting heads because we're so similar. But like that was the only like those were the only tears we saw that night. So I knew he really liked it. I was like, okay, you don't have to say. He didn't say thanks. He was like, oh wow, underwear, and then he cried. And I was like, I know you like it. You don't have to say thanks. Yeah, and like even with my like our parents, our dads specifically, they don't really like show love much. But like when they open like peel fruits or open oranges, or like they're like, hey, I know you like mango. I bought mango, or like Thai tea and stuff like that. And my dad, like, since he likes me to cook him food, then like I bought him a cookbook. So sometimes I see him flipping through the cookbook and marking the pages. Aww. So like sometimes I'll buy ingredients to make the meals that he bookmarked, and I think he really likes that. He does say thanks, but I know it's very hard for him to say thanks. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I did so good. He said thanks. So like things like that I love to do, and like if someone did it back, it's amazing. That's why I always say, I want a man that can cook so that he can show, like, like I can give him good food. He can give me good food back. But yeah.
Dude, I think kind of just going back to our parents' love languages, I actually think my dad's is maybe acts of service, like gift giving. Like he's always giving us like random things. Like, oh, here's a mask. Oh, here's a pillowcase. Oh, here's another SD card or something. Yeah, so I never realized that, but yeah, I think he likes giving gifts. He likes doing acts of services, but he also likes things being done, without him knowing. And so, yeah, acts of service. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So his is acts of service.
Yeah. But yeah. And I looked on a different website, theverywellmind.com, and it kind of says, when it comes to performing acts of service, here are 4 things you can do. So like, so it would be like my significant other reading this about me, like how can I love her? And it's like, pay attention to the small things, consider the things your partner doesn't enjoy doing, focus on services that are easy for you to accommodate into your schedule, and to utilize your strengths. And that's kind of like when I said like in earlier episodes, like I want a guy who can like pick up what I'm lacking, like the bills and stuff. That's an act of service. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't realize that. Like, yeah, just like things like that. Reading this list, I'm like, oh yeah, like if I don't want to do something, like I hope you can do it for me. Yeah.
I agree with you, because like I can't do bills and stuff. Like we'll just earn the money together. You can take care of the bills. I'll figure out where to eat. I'll
figure out what to cook tonight.
That too.
You figure out the more adult things. I mean, cooking is adult things too. But.
Well, so I think that's all the time that we have. Thanks for listening in, and please tune into our next episode next Wednesday. And remember to follow our platform, A Moment of Boba, for the latest on our lives. Until next time.